गुड मॉर्निंग स्टूडेंट्स, वेलकम माय यूट्यूब चैनल वैल्यू एजुकेशन। आज हम बात करेंगे MMPC 001 के यूनिट 8 यानी कि लीडिंग एंड मोटिवेटिंग। सो सबसे पहले हम इसके ऑब्जेक्टिव्स की बात करेंगे। जो इसके ऑब्जेक्टिव्स है वो है इंट्रोड्यूस वेरियस लीडरशिप स्टाइल, फैमिलराइजिंग यू विथ वेरियस थ्योरीज एंड स्टाइल ऑफ लीडरशिप, create an awareness that leadership is a process of shared influence on the work group, and understand significance of motivation, understand various theories of motivations, and structure, introduction, leadership style, leadership theory, modern theory of leadership, and successful versus effective leader, or motivation, meaning and definition, and etc etc. Introduction. So in giving the input on leadership styles and influence process to you, we presume your main aim to understand and improve your style of functioning as a leader. To start with, you must have clear idea as to what is meant by leadership. Leadership is the activity of influencing people to strive willingly for group objectives. As you can see, this process is a function of the leader, the followers, and the situation. There may not be any particular organization in our mind when we talk about leadership. In any situation where you are trying to influence the behavior of another individual or group, leadership is operating. Thus, each one of us tries leadership at one time or the other. Whether our activities are centered around a business, educational institution, hospital, political organization, government organization, or a family. As part of this process, one who attempt to influence the behavior of other becomes a potential leader, and the person he is attempting to influence are the potential followers. This may happen irrespective of the fact that the leader may be their boss or a colleague's associate or a subordinate or a friend or a relative. In other words, through a style of functioning, he see influence, attitude, and expectation, which in turn encourage or discourage the followers' activity or achievements, enhance or diminish the followers' commitment to the work, etc. In our day-to-day life, we come across instances of how people are influenced by activities or word of a person who is trying to lead them. We always make judgments about the leaders of our own office. In our mind, we make a difference between a good leader and a bad one by judging his style or way of functioning and his influence on others. Hence, in understanding the phenomenon of leadership, we must first understand the various style of the leaders. Having established plan, controlled, and an appropriate structure to achieve the organizational objectives, the manager now has to get his people to work. Motivation is that desire of or feeling within an individual which promote him to action. Every individual has needs, desires, and drives, which we collectively call motives, and which channelize all his or her behavior and action towards achievement of some objectives. The manager's role is to influence each individual's behavior and action towards achievement of common organizational objectives. A great deal of research has been conducted in this area, and there are many theories of motivation. It is not possible to explain all these theories here, and we shall only briefly explain the various factors that can act as motivation. Money is the most commonly used motivating factor in the form of salary, bonus, incentives, commissions, and rewards. Salary or wage is, of course, the primary motivation, and the purer the economic background of an individual, the greater the motivational value of money. However, once a basic salary or wage assured to motivate people to work that little bit extra, achieve that 10% higher sales figure. Incentives and commissions come in handy. Most sales organizations pay salary plus incentives to their sales people. The incentives may be calculated on the basis of individual or team result and may be linked to sales target. Similar incentives can be offered to the production department. However, performance linked rewards are difficult to compute in areas such as finance, personnel, and administration where work output cannot be easily measured. A percentage of total profits can be distributed to these departments as incentives. Man does not live by bread alone in an old saying. Man is a social animal and seek recognition and status in society through his work. The status or position which an individual enjoys in the organization, the number of people who work for him, the non-monetary benefits and perk which he enjoy are important motivational factors. In fact, sometimes these are more important than the actual take-home pay packet. Gupta started his career as a salesman in medium-sized company manufacturing and marketing stereo system. Because of his analytic ability, capacity to work hard and achieve results, Gupta soon rose to be the area sales manager of North India. The owner of company relied a great deal on Gupta's judgment, always consulted him on every important matter. Gupta was making good money, performing well, and enjoyed the great confidence of owner. Yet he felt that there was no power or position in his job which could give him a better status in society. Therefore, when the opportunity arose, Gupta joined an American multinational as divisional manager, selling scientific laboratory glassware. It was the glamour, the power, and the status which the job conferred on him that motivated Gupta to join. However, 2 years with the multinational were enough for Gupta to realize that he had no authority to take any independent decision and he was not deriving any satisfaction from his job. Gupta quit his job and went back to his previous employer. The satisfaction at work is an important motivation factor. The lesson from Gupta's story is that the same individual will be motivated by different factors at different stages of his career. Generally, as you move up organization to more important position, the importance of money and monetary benefits as motivating factors decreased and intangible factors such as job satisfaction, confidence of the boss, good relationship with the boss, the status and respect commanded in the organization, etc., become more important. The physical working environment in which a person works also has tremendous motivational force. A pleasant, noise-free, well-lit room with comfortable temperature and proper facilities of telecommunication, secretarial assistance, canteen, transport, etc. is always conducive to work. Different individuals are motivated by different factors. This is because each individual in organizations comes from a different socio-economic, culture, religious, educational, and family backgrounds. And each of these has a role in determining the degree to which he can be motivated by different factors. In most Western countries, a great deal of emphasis is laid on leisure and individuals may motivated to take up that job which affords greatest opportunity for leisure. The manager's concern is to find a set of common factors which can motivate all his people coming from diverse and different background and working at different level of management. The manager's task will be greatly simplified when he understand the motivation factor are present in and can be used in design of work rewards, work environment, work relationship, and work content. All monetary benefits and non-monetary advantages such as free medical cover, company car and driver, club membership, etc. are parts of the work rewards and are important motivators. Work environment as a motivating factor first and foremost refers to the status of the organization for which a person works, and the mere fact of his working in the organization gives him that status. Harvard University has the reputation of being amongst the best in the world, and anyone who has graduated from Harvard is generally perceives to be at least above average is not excellent. The actual physical factors present in the work environment also act as motivator. Relationship developed at work with the boss, colleagues and subordinates have a important motivating influence. The more congenial, friendly and sportive are these relationships, the greater their positive motivational value. In contrast, strained relationships which create tension and unhappiness are serious enough reason for people to leave job which in all other respect seems very comfortable and attractive. The design and content of the actual work to be done is in itself an important motivational factor. An element of freedom to experiment with a new ideas within the parameters of the job fulfills the creative urge in every individual's freedoms to take decision and assume responsibility for the results are factors which enhance an individual's self-confidence and feeling of self-esteem. The more such factors can be built into the job and greater would be the job satisfaction of individual performing the job. A happy satisfied worker is productive worker and a great assets to any organization. If an individual is himself associated with designing the content and objectives of his job, there are greater chances that he will work his utmost to fulfill these objectives. This is the approach known as management by objectives MBO and has tremendous motivational potential. The manager has not only to motivate his people but also provide them with leadership. To that extent, every manager is a leader. A manager has to inspire and influence his people to willingly work towards achieving the organizational objectives. Much research has been conducted in this field, and different studies have emphasized different aspects in attempting to answer the question what makes an effective leader. When put in the situation of leading, you must remember it is a role that you are performing, but that your personality has an important influence on your performance, as does the situation in which you are expected to perform. To be an effective leader, a manager must have a pleasing physical personality, ability to get along with people, qualities of honesty and integrity, and be an excellent speaker. To command respect of other, one must excel at one's basic job, whether it is operating a lathe machine or managing the finance of a large company. The leader must first set an example by own action rather than by just making speech. The action must communicate to the people that she belongs to them. Only when one generates this feeling of oneness will be able to inspire confidence among people. Secondly, a manager must remember that he is only playing a role, however, to be able to perform effectively, the role demands that the manager be perfectly objective in all the judgments and decisions and be guided only by the organizational objectives and have no other consideration. For a leader. The interest of people are of paramount importance and come first while personal benefits take second place. Thirdly, the role must be molded according to the unique situation in which the manager is placed. In our society, great emphasis is laid on personal relationship and contact, and managers are perceived to be father figure and are expected to have a paternalistic attitude towards their workers. In contrast, in the West, especially in countries with a British colonial past, the relationship between manager and worker is only confined to the work. There, if a manager were to adopt a paternalistic approach, would be totally ineffective. A manager who usually follows a consultative consultative participative approach seeking the opinions and consists of subordinates before implementing any decision in a crisis situation may adopt a very authoritarian approach and effectively manage the situation. When Lee Lakakoa took over the management of Chrysler Corporation USA, it was an ailing automobile giant to bring it out of the loss-making situation. Lakakuka inspired tremendous confidence and loyalty in workers by setting personal example of great hard work and accepting only a token wage. Under the leadership, the company was soon able to turn its losses into profit. Political leadership such as Gandhi, who commanded the respect of millions of people, are model for managers to learn from. Gandhi's leadership style was so finally turned to the moods of the people and situation that his every word was law for the common man. His actions and lifestyle made the people feel he belonged to them. Leadership styles. So leadership style, the word style is way in which the leader influence followers. Let us have a look at the various studies that helps us to understand the leadership styles. So Hawthorne studies, Mayo and Rodley Burgers did a series of study from 1924 to 1932 in an electricity company at Illinois in USA. These studies are known as Hawthorne studies. One phase of these studies aimed at finding out if changes in illumination, rest period and lunch break can affect the productivity of the worker. It was found to surprise of researchers that less lighter, shorter and fewer rest period and shorter lunch break resulted in increased productivity, and once all these changes were eliminated and the normal working conditions were resumed, it was also seen that the workers' productivity and the feelings of being together went up. Theory X and Y you can see on screen. Max Gregor's 1960 categorized leadership style. It is important question for your exam. And next one is Loa leadership studies. So Loa leadership studies is also important question in perspective of your exam. In you can see on screen and read it. Ohio State study on leadership styles, and this is activity C. Next one is leadership theories. So trait theory. This theory, as described by Kelly 1974, attempts to classify what personal characteristics such as physical, personality, and mental are associated with leadership success. Trait theory relies on research that relates various traits to the success of a leader. A lengthy list of traits has been made to describe an effective leader in terms of certain characteristics. characteristics and six category of classification. uh, I mean to say, a broad classification of six categories of trait are given below. You can see on screen. So physical characteristics, background characteristics, education, intelligence, and etc., etc. So these characteristics, according to the some people, are considered valid indicators of successful leaders. But if you are compare leaders by various physical, personality, and intelligence traits, you may find very little agreement on these. Some finding points out to fact that leaders are intelligent individuals, and but they do not provide any clue as to whether leaders are brighter than their followers or are as close to them in intelligence. Group and exchange theory of leadership, important question. These stories, as reported by Hollander and Julian, state that the leader provide more benefits or regards than burden or cost for followers who help him achieve the goal of the organization. There must be positive exchange between the leader and follower in order for group goals to be accomplished. And next one is social learning theory. Important question. This theory by Bandura 1977, that there is a continuous reciprocal interaction between person, environment, and behavior as shown in figure 1. So behavior, person, environment, reciprocal determining in social learning. Person and environment function in conjunction with the behavior itself and reciprocally interact to determine behavior. A person through his actions produce the environment condition that affect behavior in reciprocal fashions. So a social learning approach to leadership is leader include cognition, leader behavior, environment. These three aspects of the theory leadership assume that the leader knows how behavior is controlled by various needs, situations, and experience that undergoes. The leader works with the subordinates to discover what those needs, situation, experience, and all these things. Managerial grid theory. Managerial grid theories, leaders can be oriented towards both task and person. These theories by Black and Mountain has a popular application to both task and person orientation. According to this theory, leaders are most effective when they achieve a high and balanced concern for a people. For task, each leader can be rated somewhere along each of the axes from 1 to 9 depending on his orientation as shown in figure. This is activity D. And contingency theory of leadership, it is also important. Path goal leadership theory. And next one is modern theories of leadership. So charismatic leadership theory. So charismatic leadership is a throwback to the old conception of leaders at being those who by the force of their personal abilities are capable of having profound and extraordinary effects on followers. Although the charismatic concept or charisma goes as far back as ancient Greek and is cited in the Bible as its modern development is often attributed to the work of Robert House on the basis of the analysis of political and religious leaders. House suggested that the charismatic leaders are characterized by self-confidence and confidence in their associate, high expectations for associate, ideological vision, and use to personal example. Next one is transformational leader theory, and next one is servant leadership and substitute for leaderships, authentic leaderships, and abusive leadership, successful versus effective leader. So these are some points how can differentiate successful and effective leader. As we have seen in the preceding discussion, leaders is activity of influencing people to strive willingly for group objectives. It is the ability to pursue uh, other to get something done. So the leader attempt to have some effect on the behavior of another, which we call attempted leader. The response to this attempt may or may not be successful. A basic responsibility of manager in any work organization is to get a work done with and through people. The success of manager is measured by the output or productivity of the group they led. Therefore, we should clearly distinguish between successful versus effective leaders. Successful, unsuccessful leader continuum. So, leader attempt, leadership, follower, resultant behavior, and successful, unsuccessful. You can read this thing and motivation, meaning, and definitions. Motivation I already discussed, and motivating factors, which are factors. Uh, Some manager try to motivate employees through use of rewards. I already discussed in previous units. Importance of motivations already discussed. Motivating steps, sizing up and preparing of set of motivating tools, selecting and applying motivation, and feedback, self-interest and motivation, attainability, the human element and individual group relationship, managerial theory, and type of motivation. So type of motivation and theories of motivation. Theories of motivations are given below. Marshmallow theories of hierarchy of needs, and second one is MacGregor's theory X and theory Y, and next one is Herzberg's two-factor theory, and next one is Max Planck's theory of motivation. Fifth one is Vroom's expectancy theory. Skinner's behaviorist theory, Likker's employee centered approach, Argy's. There are many theory arguments. So in summary, in this units you have learned about leadership as a process of influence on others to work willingly for group objectives. You have also come across different leadership styles such as human relation styles, theory X and Y analysis, authorization, democratic and laissez-faire style, employee orientation and production orientation style, consolidation and initiating structure styles, and scientific manager styles have been related to various theories to theory of leadership such as trait theory, group and exchange theory, social learning theory, and many theories. So unit 8 is over and important questions are covered. Thank you.